On this, I'm joined by Professor Shahram Akbarzadeh. Pardon me. He's the convener of Middle East Studies Forum, Deakin University. Professor, very quickly, we've heard the reaction from Palestine, the Palestinian authorities, not good at all. If I quote the President Mahmoud Abbas, he says, "I will say no and 1,000 times no." What's your reaction?
Well, I think that's only to be expected. I'm not sure how President Trump expects to have a peace deal offered to resolve this long-standing dispute between Israel and Palestine and not even invite the Palestinian side to the party. They were completely kept out of the picture. And in fact, the United States has made it very clear that it is primarily concerned with Israeli security. President Trump himself made Israeli security a very important aspect of the peace plan. And everything that is offered is everything that Israel has been pushing for. So the scales are really turned, the scales are tipping in favor of Israel. And there's no doubt in how President Trump sees the future of Israel and Palestine. Basically, he is endorsing the new plan, is basically endorsing Israeli occupation of Palestine and annexation of the territories where settlers are residing in the West Bank.
So, Professor, you would not agree with what the UAE is thinking. At least this proposal is a starting point for return to negotiations because Palestinian authorities have stopped negotiating with the U.S. anyway, since what the U.S. did was to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and also to recognize Israeli sovereignty over the occupied Golan Heights. They're not talking. This is a starting point for returning to talking.
I don't see how this could be a starting point where President Trump is already setting the parameters of any future negotiation, which is far less than anything Palestinians have been asking for. There has been an international consensus on the future Palestinian state and its capital city being in East Jerusalem. Trump has said no. Jerusalem is undivided and it belongs to Israel. There is a major concern regarding Palestinian refugees and their right of return under international law. That's completely ignored in this peace deal. There is a question of occupied settlements in the West Bank, which is again illegal under international law. But this new peace plan endorses it and gives legitimacy to Israeli occupation. So there is no starting point here. The peace deal is giving Israel everything it has wanted and nothing to the Palestinians.
Well, these articles of faith you laid out, the three of them, the future of Jerusalem, the right of refugees for return, issue of land occupied by Israel pre-1967. Well, these articles of faith have prevented any real movement on the two-state solution over the last 3 decades. Since they have provided such a deadlock, is this a way somehow to counter this deadlock by breaking these articles of faith? Again, devil's advocate here.
Well, it's possible to enter negotiation and discuss those issues if both parties have an equal say at the negotiation table. The way this is presented is a fait accompli decided by Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law in Washington, with no consultation with Palestinians. This doesn't really bode well for any peace negotiation.
All right, what do you see happening now? The end of this week will have Israel's Security Cabinet meeting on Sunday to decide on annexing the Jordan Valley and other settlements currently considered illegal under international law. We also have, at Mahmoud Abbas's request, the Arab League meeting for an emergency session in Cairo on Saturday. These weekend meetings, what do you think will come out of them?
Well, I think Prime Minister Netanyahu will push that. This is a very clever political move for Netanyahu because he is facing another election. He has been unable to win outright majority in the Israeli election, past two. So this is the third time he is going to the ballot for a popular mandate. With this plan of annexation and the idea of a peace deal that really favors Israel, he is put in a very strong position for re-election, and that's probably something good for President Trump himself. If Netanyahu's coming back to office.
Leaving aside Israel, what might make Palestinian authorities in the Palestinian territories negotiate might be the pressure from U.S. allies. So Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the UAE, Jordan, what have we heard so far from them that might suggest some kind of unified action on any coalition?
Well, the Arab world is absolutely divided on so many issues. At the moment, Saudi Arabia is more concerned with its own region, with Iran as a major threat to its security. So is United Arab Emirates. So they have other more pressing issues to worry about than the Palestinians. I don't really see how a united Arab front can put pressure on the Palestinians to enter negotiations, just because they don't really have a united front.
Well, thanks very much indeed for all that, Professor Shahram Abbaszadeh, convener of Middle East Studies Forum in Deakin University. Thanks so much for joining.